This doesn't fit right. So I started scripting this video on Friday, which today is Sunday afternoon. I started writing this at work. I have the paper right here even of just what I wrote down. And to be honest, this wasn't exactly something I was expecting to put as my second video ever on the channel. I have plans for for what I actually wanted to do, and I'll do that later. But this was sort of something that popped up and I kind of wanted to talk about. So, I actually had to check the script. This is why I need a script. But before I begin, for those of you who don't know who I am, hello, my name is Plush. I don't normally wear this on like recordings or whatever. I just kind of wanted to today because today's topic is sort of furry related. Mostly, it's about a furry artist on Twitter who recently got canceled. Usually, a topic like this wouldn't be something that I really care about. I'm someone that I just sort of do my own thing. I follow some artists and just go about my day. And usually, when someone is canceled on Twitter, it's someone that I don't know, I don't watch, whatever. But in this case, this one is. I first found out about this situation through a video by Harley TBS, who is a sort of commentary channel. I don't know the best way to put it other than that. They're still a bit newer and they've been in their own controversies. But long story short, I didn't even know this was a thing until I found it. So, also, by the way, Harley, if you haven't already, you still need to put your sources into your description. I had to find this stuff myself during the workday, which I probably shouldn't have done, but whatever. So, the person I'm talking about is Fiddle a Fox, which I'm assuming that's how you say it because it's Fiddle and then A and then Fox. Fiddle a Fox. Take notes. uh, so the entire situation started with a Twitter thread released by an account called Fiddle/Cactus Callout, which is the @ of callout_9. It joined this month and has not posted anything beforehand, which means that it's basically a burner account. So I'd say at first that shouldn't be too much of a thing, but when you look into the first like tweet that they post out, it's as reads, and quote, Fiddle Fox is a bigoted, hateful person. We have compiled a document to show the furry community the racist, sexist, transphobic views held by Fiddle Fox and the hurt she continues to actively cause throughout the community behind closed doors. And then attached on this tweet is a Google document going through all the evidence. Now, I'm going to start off. This tweet doesn't tag Fiddle Fox, which is a bit weird. And again, new account, so everything should be taken with a grain of salt because we don't know who this is going into it. I'll get into that later because there is more to it than just this. Now, I am not defending Fiddle Fox when I go through this document, as I'll explain her transgressions during the situation later on in the video. But I wanted to go through some of the issues with the document first. So, it starts with a please be aware that the screenshots below contain extreme language wanting triggering warnings for transphobia, racism, slurs, ableism, acephobia, and rape. I'm assuming that I'm not actually allowed to say that stuff on YouTube, but I'm not monetized. I don't care. So, then it goes through the different ats of Fiddle the Fox, which includes Cactus, Fiddle, Avery, also formerly known as Experimenty, Cactus Candle, and Ask Vaporeon. And at the time of writing their document, Fiddle was at 35k followers, which it has definitely gone down an entire 10k since, and is a prominent member of the furry art community on Tumblr and Twitter for several years, which is true, but I didn't find out about Fiddle until about like 2019. So for me, I don't have so much attachment. So they also play we do not want to, or approve of needless harassment at Fiddle or anyone else. It's apparently supposed to be an awareness thing. So, the first link they give is the links to all videos proving this Discord is Fiddle's, and gives a trigger warning for transphobia. Opening the link gives us nothing. Certainly a good start to a cancellation, isn't it? This is the first real big issue. It's just the fact that there is absolutely nothing on here for the linking the Discord to Fiddles. Now, again, this doesn't like now again, this doesn't save Fiddle the Fox because of her actions later on. But for a Twitter callout, this is a terrible start. So now we have a link to an archive of her old Twitter showing her saying her Discord, and then an Imgur screenshot. And if you open these, then yeah, it brings up a web.archive.org, which shows the old Twitter account with a tweet from May of whenever saying their Discord. Now, for the web archive, this is when they're still at Ask Vaporeon, so also take that with a little bit of salt, but we'll get to that. The Imgur link is basically the same thing, so there is no real issue there. Her current name is Fiddle. This is all stuff. Okay, so this next paragraph is talking about how Fiddle has the same last four numbers for her how Fiddle has the same last four numbers for her Discord as the account listed on the screenshots. And they point out a few good, strong evidence about it being the same account. Without Nitro, you cannot change the numbers after your name. If you have Nitro, you can change the numbers, but then the numbers shuffle again when you don't have Nitro. And they point out that this count and KJ, they point out how this count and Fiddle do not have any sort of Discord Nitro, and they have the same number. Anyone who has interacted with her on Discord can also just find her name and see her tag in person. And that is true as well. Because if you share a server with anyone, you can just click on their name and just check what their Discord tag is. That's pretty normal. For safety and privacy reasons, we have blocked out all other people in the conversations. All of them have come forward with this evidence because they do not want to be like this anymore and are willingly taking a stance against what they've seen from Fiddle. This is for me at least, real contentious sort of statement. First off, if everyone that is bringing these claims out is anonymous, then the claims should only be treated as such, and so we don't know if those are credible claims. We don't know who these people are. It's so easy to just make, like, it could all just be one person who had some bad interactions, or it could be someone that was even trying to provoke Fiddle for all we know. This is also a point that we'll get back to later. Evidence of transphobia. And so from here, we have some, Jeez. So from then on, we get to the actual screenshots, which shows Fiddle chatting and basically just giving multiple different terrible takes. Now, some of the examples here are, I know I'm cis, but the trans movement is such shit. And if a lesbian won't date a trans woman, she's bigoted. But most lesbians don't want to deal with a penis. God forbid you actually say that, though. I'm not even someone who is like mad or upset when trans people say I hate cis people, because I get it, and also being cis isn't my identity, but God, I'm just sick of them constantly making everything about them. And so on and so KJ, ow, and so on and so forth. There's more on here. Basically, for the transphobia, it seems more just Fiddle complaining about the attention that many trans people bring upon themselves. Which, whatever your opinion on that is, that's on you. KJ, no, don't, do not chew on the cord. No, bad. A lot of these screenshots are just Fiddle by themselves. The first tweet that we, or not, the first screenshot we get that is not, is about half, all the way down on the second page of screenshots, in which it starts with Fiddle sharing a screenshot of a tweet to another Discord user complaining about the not comfy with they, them for someone. Now, I don't know who the screenshot, like the person in the screenshot of it, but the document members clearly forgot to blur out that. Basically, the other person in this says that, but John is going by they, them too. And then Fiddle says that the issue is that the person is saying they don't go by they, them. Which, I mean, I guess I'm going to be honest, when it comes to pronouns, I'm someone that's okay with all of them. So I honestly have a hard time understanding what people like or dislike. But my big point here is it seems like whoever the reply is obviously someone that isn't going to point him out that quick. The next screenshot is also a bit of a weird one, but I don't think there's much here to talk about. There's also the one that many people have pointed out for her saying the word fake boy, which I guess is a transphobic slang word that I have not heard about until this drama. And the reply is talking about the profile that Fiddle's talking about, where they just say their profile says they're a he now, a he them, but they also have a female persona. Basically, almost agreeing with Fiddle in this case, which is probably a good reason why they want to stay anonymous, because there's definitely some skeletons in the closet for them too. For Acephobia, there is only one, and I'm going to be honest, it's just a weird Discord message as a whole. And then for the racism one, the main point of contention a lot of people have pointed out is the shock collar statement. Quote by Fiddle's Discord, and this is apparent: "Black people need to wear shock collars or they'll fly into a murderous rage and rape your daughters." Now, obviously, this is a very terrible statement to make, and this is one that she actually goes forward and defends, and we'll get to that. But there is so many other tweets about, or there's so many other Discord messages where Fiddle says different terrible things about black people, to where even if this one is defendable in some way, you also just said I hate black people outright. So I think that's a terrible argument. So there's also one. This one is also a bit of a weird screenshot. It starts with the person replying to Fiddle saying, "Just admit you hate men. Suck up sapphic queen." Fiddle types a lot of ha's and then posts a sort of memeable picture, I guess, of whatever. Then the replier posts a screenshot of someone saying, I'm non-binary, so I often forget I'm even trans. I'm still kind of used to referring to myself as cis, and it doesn't help that I'm not out to anyone but a select few IRL." To which then say, "Hey, this is the person who called you a piece of shit." Fiddle responds with, "Yeah, did I mention I hate men?" I don't know why this one was included for hate against black guys. Unless the message here that the Anonymous posted about another anonymous person is a black guy, we don't know. And there's some definite background context that leads you to believe that there's more to this story than just she hates men just because of that. Again, this is not defending her because we'll get to it. There are some other screenshots that show her posting some really weird pictures. Uh, I do not know. She brings up a documentary about a black guy in a movement, but this one is a bit of a weird one too because it doesn't really look like uh, that Fiddle is really saying anything about black men in this picture, just about the fact that this documentary exists. There's also some screenshots about Fiddle basically uh, disliking her audience, hating 99%. Wait, let me find the actual quote. It's possible for the best that I was reminded that fan bases are not to be trusted and that I was right to find 99% of the people who follow me repulsive. Basically, if you support her, she hates you. And then there's just a conclusion that says, we hope this has shed light on the suppressed experiences of people who either have been exposed to or has had or we hope this has shed light on the suppressed experiences of people who either have been exposed to or had their friends exposed to Fiddle's bigotry and cruelty. Our hope is to show that these are not careless, isolated, or ignorant acts, but part of a targeted and malicious abuse of trust among a diverse group in the furry community that she has casually performed over the course of years. We and many others find this unacceptable in a community that has no tolerance for this dehumanization, abuse, and discrimination for others. So that is the end of the document, and I've pointed out a few flaws. I'd say the biggest point is what uh even though they show what Fiddle's Discord is, which it is true when you look into it, there is nothing in the screenshots that show that this Fiddle isn't an alt account. They don't have really solid proof other than the screenshots. And again, with the first link being broken, they could have fixed that just by having that working, but that's missing. So there's no way to actually have this seem correct. The initial tweet from the callout Twitter got 2,384 retweets as of recording, 721 quote retweets, and 3,207 likes. Now, personal opinion, everyone that had looked at this and went, I'm going to wait to see if more info comes out, want to see Fiddle's side, you did good in this situation because this is a terrible call out post in every way. But unfortunately for Fiddle, Fiddle just did a terrible response after terrible response. So, if we go to the first, let's see. Fiddle's first tweet about this situation goes, well, I guess at Inebrius leaked all our Discord convos because I warned two people he was a massive creep. I may be a huge racist and transmisogynist, but at least I don't constantly talk about being tiny. Try not to shoot up your workplace, buddy. What? So, let's break this down as best as I'm able to, because I'm pretty small brain, I don't understand things. First of all, she brings up this account called this Discord of Inebrius. This account is a locked private account that only follows people can see the tweets of. I have no clue who it is, and with the fact that Fiddle seems to just know who did the call out post is a bit of an alarming thing immediately. But the main reason this tweet falls apart is the second sentence. I may be a huge racist and transmisogynist, but that is not a good way to start a defense. Especially since that's basically confirming that the screenshots, even with how poorly put together they are, they're true screenshots. What the hell are you doing, Fiddle? Like, god dang. Why? They also say I don't constantly talk about being tiny. This is a weird argument. I guess maybe Inebrius has some sort of micro fetish, maybe. That's my only guess. Which, if that's something that goes on, that's as weird as it is, there's not a huge issue there. Try not to shoot up your workplace, buddy. Again, this has no context, and so anyone that's just reading this tweet like me does not know what the hell is going on. What does it have to do with them being tiny for them showing up the workplace? Is this something that's entirely separate? We don't know. We just know that Fiddle said this. Anyways, yes, those caps are real. No, I'm not apologizing. Bleh. No, I'm not apologizing for shit I said in private. Lol. Quick FAQs. Question: I'm unfollowing you. Answer: that's fine. You do you. Question: do you hate black people? Answer: I hate white people more. Oh, I would love to see the Discord screenshots for that. Question: you're the worst piece of shit in the world. Answer: that's not true and you know it. This also seems to allude that there's some other background stuff going on to where maybe these people that did release these screenshots might also do some terrible things. And some of those screenshots do seem to show that wherever these screenshots are pulled from, people weren't objectifying to it at first. These are people that seem to even go along with it. So, there might be some truth to it. But where these tweets fail is that she doesn't defend herself well. She basically admitted to it, and that's why the entire hate train started. So, let's continue on. Her next string of tweets is a bit of an interesting one. Oh, one clarification, or a few clarifications rather. Now, Inebrius unadded me from Discord, so I have literally no way of proving this. Feel free to think I'm lying, it makes no difference to me. However, people are talking about one specific comment I made about black men in shock collars. Sounds horrible, right? Why the fuck would I say that? I sat down, wondering when I said that and why, with no way of going back and looking at the conversation. But suddenly I remembered. The conversation was about Zootopia. As you know, Zootopia uses animal people as stand-ins for people of color. More specifically, predators equal minority, black, Hispanic, etc. I was not a fan of this concept, making black people out to be predators when actual predators are at their cores dangerous to herbivores. The herbivore. Dangerous to herbivores. There's a scrapped concept about electric collars being put on carnivores to control them. That's where that statement comes from. I was mocking the lazy inclusion of race issues into a world where it doesn't work and was offensive. Now, it is true that Zootopia had a scrapped concept where predators would wear shock collars. These shock collars would shock you if you got more aggressive. I remember looking into this way back when because I thought it was pretty interesting. The problem is that, like, even if this was mocking the concept, you're like, what, 4 years too late or something? So, if we're going by the screenshot date. And the other thing about it is that the race issues brought up in Zootopia are actually real life world issues for the most part, from what I can tell. I don't know. I'm just a random white guy who lives out in nowhere. I don't live near a city, so maybe I'm wrong, but from my scene, a lot of people actually agree that Zootopia did a good job showing race issues. Now, there could be an argument that could have been done there, but for the most part, these tweets don't really defend it that well. Like, sure, maybe saying that black people need shock collars is a bit of a joke on her end, just to point out the issues with comparing the predators to being minority or Hispanic. Well, you still said it, and there's no context. So yeah, let's see. Look, I said a lot of things in that Discord chat with Inebrius. I accept all responsibility for saying it, which is basically her admitting to saying all this. But you seem to see why many of those things are cherry picked. He sent those screen caps to people because he was a creep to me and I got tired of it. Why don't you have proof of this? You could have, if he was being a creep to you, you could have screenshot it before you were unfriended. And I'm also going to get into that in a minute. Even though I knew he could blackmail me, yada yada. There is one big point of hers that I think is a decent one. Where is all of his side of that Discord chat? Why are people using such ill-gotten evidence against me? Now, it's not just the fact that these screenshots are ill-gotten evidence, because yeah, it is a bit cropped out and there is a few bad things that seem like they need more context. But you admitted to it, Fiddle. Why are you trying to defend that? Like, come on. The main point here that I'm trying to make is that Fiddle said some terrible things, and there is just not much that she's going to be able to do about that. But my other point is that this doesn't seem like a isolated, it's only her. Obviously, the people who called her out had had a lot of skeletons in their own closets too. So we have to keep an eye on that. The next line of tweets is her trying to use a method that she found through someone else leaking a YouTube video that basically would help her get these messages that she was talking about, the ones that would give context. Now, the one issue with it is this is just if you were saving text logs, and she even admits that, yeah, a lot of the things didn't work out. She couldn't get these messages because the text logs only show your end of it, and obviously because these are text logs, they are easily editable, which she even says here. So there's not really too much to bring up here, other than the fact that she mentions that she is most likely blocked by this Discord user. So she's not able to send a friend request and get the actual messages. The last message after posting this is another weird one, though. At the end of the Twitter chain, and for lulz because he truly fucked me over, here's the whiny statement he sent me after I didn't beg him to come back after he unadded me on Discord after the above statement. Which reads, I'm typing this out for the sake of closure, I guess. You're not under any obligation to reply. I just want the things that went unspoken off my mind. I apologize for the length, but this is everything. I can take a lot of shit. I know my flaws. I know we have really combative differences. Look, I'm stupid. As an individual, you know I enjoy spending time with conflicting personalities, but by the end of that argument, I don't think you'll ever appreciate just how resented and disposable you made me feel. Do you really look down on me that much? Do you think I looked down on you that much? Do you really see me as fundamentally incompatible with parts of you because I'm a man? Did you ever think I saw parts of you fundamentally incompatible because you're a woman? That talk cut deep. I don't know if you were hurt or angry or if you were just glad to be rid of me. I don't know if that conversation even mattered to you or if you knew how much you were devastating me as you said it. I really haven't been able to think about it without breaking down into tears, so like you, I just try to forget. I am fine with moving on and disappearing eventually. I am not looking for a reason to hate you. I'm not chasing you down or dragging this out. That would beyond insulting to both of us. I'm assuming that he means that would be beyondly insulting to both of us, but you know. Because of this, I thought for a few weeks now if I should say anything at all. You've made it very clear you wouldn't ever come running to me. I dreaded that you would just this whole exchange awkward and pathetic, and I suppose if you do, the least then I could have closure. That's how you really feel about me. I suppose it's all possible you are just confused and have no idea of what I'm talking about, which is fine. That at least explains why this happened. But after 3 weeks of feeling like absolute shit, I really want to cut through the bullshit and just ask you straight up, are you happier without me around? There isn't a day that's gone by where I didn't think about you. I want you to know that I still wish you the best. I don't regret the things I sent you, nor did I ever want you to pay me back. And I do genuinely hope that your artist server can be the space that I never could provide. What the fuck? I'm actually getting a little bit of a headache just reading that one, because what the heck? Basically, I think this tweet that was sent is supposed to be some sort of showing that this guy is a simp, maybe? But there's no evidence that this is who she's talking about. There is no username or context, just like the Google Docs screenshots. So unless he makes a mistake of responding in the worst way possible, we don't know this. And unlike with Fiddle, his account's private, so we have no way of knowing. That and this just seems petty to put out there if that is the case, because it doesn't help your case in any way, shape, or form, and just kind of makes you look like a dick, Fiddle, which, whatever. Fiddle dicks. Oh, I make myself laugh. Her last tweet lines say this. He said way worse shit than I ever did, but now I can't even prove it. Oh well, it's my fault for letting knee-jerk feelings get in the way of critical thinking and seeing him for what he really is. I fucked up, I fully admit to that. I'm sorry. This is literally the next tweet after she posts the picture of those screenshots that literally are her just trying to clown on this guy. So I don't know how much of that would be knee jerk and how much of that is, uh, like, I don't know. There's a lot of vitriol in this, which does make me think there is something else going on. So basically, I'm saying I do believe that Fiddle might be truthful about there being some skeletons in the closet about the people canceling her. I do not believe that saves her though. I think that she's still got all of this stuff that she said that will not help her in the long run. Anyways, continuing. And not sorry in the wah followers, please come back kind of way, as I really don't care about that. And I'm not going to blame him for tainting me with his shittiness. Those statements were all mine. Again, admitting to what she said being true. You want up? I will be taking a good hard look at myself and making sure I don't let my anger lead me down this kind of racist thinking again. But I will not be returning to social media. So thank you for hearing me out and goodbye. This is her last tweet. She has not posted anything since, so there is at least the chance that she may be just truthful about leaving for now. And so that's about where all the drama sort of fizzles out for the moment. We don't have any sort of follow up from the call out account other than the Discord lookup thing, which again doesn't entirely prove that it's her purely because the screenshots themselves don't show the tag. I do want to say though, my experience with Discord, if you unfriend someone, you still have access to those messages unless you close the DM. That's when you are possibly able to lose them. But you are able to open these messages again if you friend the person again. Or if you're in the same server as them. Basically, it sounds like whoever made these... God, my brain. This part, I don't have any more script. I didn't finish the script. And my cat's like, got a claw on my leg. With Discord, though, a lot of what she said is half truthful. If you close the DM, you're not able to get them back unless you reopen them. But that does not delete them entirely. They are still able to be opened, again, if you share a server or if you have DMs open with the person in some way, shape, or form. Now, it's clear that this was a one-on-one interaction, and she says that the person probably has her blocked. So that would mean that she wouldn't be able to get the DMs if she closed it. But when did she close it is my question. All these screenshots are from 2020, which means that the call out thread came about a year later, which, if she hasn't talked with these people since then yeah, I don't see a reason for her to really keep the messages open. But with how a lot of this is said, it sounds like there might have been a group chat or two. What's the case with those? Why do all these people want to be anonymous if their evidence is so concrete? That's my questions. Do they not want to get called out for the same thing? Are they being hypocrites? I don't know. In conclusion, for me at least, I don't fully think that this was a good call out post, but the cancellation itself was good. If Fiddle did not basically admit to multiple times that she said this stuff, this cancellation would have been nothing. We wouldn't have known that this was real, because the screenshots really are just sort of not well done. And if anything, Fiddle just kind of indicted herself in this. If that original call out post came out and Fiddle just ignored it or didn't respond to it or made a decent response that wasn't her saying, yes, I'm a racist and transmisogynist, but then she probably could have kept doing what she does and moved on. Hell, just point out the fact that, like, claws, KJ. Just point out the fact that even though they show her tag, they don't actually show it connected to the screenshots would be good enough, and you could just continue on. So, why am I bringing this up? I don't use Twitter too much. I only have it because I follow a couple artists, as said. If these cancellations are to be trusted, they need to have good evidence behind them, and they need to be not only provable, but also just able to. God, I am just. English is my first language, and I also speak it so badly. English is my only language, actually. If we want to be able to trust cancellations like this in the future, we need so much better evidence, so much better proof. We need good. We need less anonymity. That way, we can know that these claims are trustworthy. We need to have evidence that shows the full context. We need something to show that these weren't made up. And again, if it wasn't for the fact that Fiddle admitted to it, these claims would have been brushed off. Fiddle could have gotten away with all this. My complaint here isn't about people canceling Fiddle. I think that it is actually deserved despite liking her art. So I've never followed Fiddle, so take that as you will. But I did enjoy the art that I had seen from her. It's just that, I don't know. There's a reason why. Ow! Claw on my leg. There's a reason why Twitter cancellations are treated as a joke for a lot of people that aren't in the Twitter community. It's because of how tweets like this come out trying to cancel someone, and it's such poor evidence, poorly put together, that even if they were deserving of it, it really just doesn't seem. I don't know. I think I just made my point, and I'm starting to ramble. So I guess I may as well end the video here. So, how do I end the video? Hope I hope that you enjoyed whatever you saw. I don't think I'm going to do many serious topics, but again, Fiddle's art is something that I had happened across, so I felt compelled to at least say something on the topic. So, next video will be something definitely a lot. Bleh. Next video will definitely be something a lot less drama-centered. It'll be just me rambling like I usually do. And that's about it. So enjoy your day. Have a great one. I got it at Walmart. It was very cheap, and I don't even remember how much it was. Just look at that. It's all just foam and squishy.